scramble anything device.
Scramble anything device.
Scramble anything.
Welcome back to the second part of the Child's Play /
Chucky.
Potcat.
Potcat.
Good thing nobody have to edit out all that emptiness. I had written a sequel, but I never finished it, and it was all written in pencil.
It's a fan screenplay.
It is lost. It was written around 1999, never to be seen again. Where Andy came back, but whole, not here. So then, if we tie that into Seed of Chucky, the last film, the first to be directed by Don Mancini, the creator who we all love and adore, so much more than any other horror creator franchise. But the first time he directed, they say last time we're going to put Chucky in the movie theaters.
Interesting. So is this a real last time they ever played in theaters?
Besides independently, of course, because, you know, movies today are so terrible, all the good ones don't really make it into theaters.
Right.
And,
These days, it's something called Netflix.
so we discover in the beginning of Seed of Chucky that some British ventriloquist guy, or he like to think of him, he look rock and roll.
Right.
Not even the rock and roll.
Some Chris Angel looking motherfucker comes in and he thinks he's badass with the crowd, and he
looked
wakes
like a
up.
dork.
He wakes up these little Seed of Chucky shit face from a nightmare of killing and murdering a family, which apparently he has constantly. And
So I wonder, how did they find them? Was there still the dead detective there gnawing on them? Did they take his body
and
away?
how did he survive these little Seed of Chucky that came out bursting out of doll vagina to kill? And it looked like he was attacking the cameraman. How did he not attack puppeteer Chris Angel, man?
Well, he said he nearly ripped off my boy's fucking throat. 18 crumpets. Alright, no, just...
So he just talked about the puppet and said tea and crumpets?
Well, I suppose it was in Glenn's blood to kill always, although it terrified him as he became more of an adult. Although Seed of Chucky,
What I don't get is,
he's only 6 years old.
if he's in Seed of Chucky, this kid, Glenn or Glenda Shitface, is only 6 or 7, and he came out of womb, seemed to be attacking, and then all of a sudden he gets picked up by some asshole who doesn't seem like he's any nicer. But where does character or child learn nice mannerisms, or even not want to kill?
His kind heart, his multiple personalities, his Norman Bates, his Glenn versus Glenda, perhaps.
Shitface versus
Or, you know,
Poopface.
or how most babies crave. You know, he couldn't get the sweet milk from Tiffany Jennifer Tilly's breast, so
Who
he
knows what
craved
doll,
blood.
demon doll?
And he got the blood from the detective.
Right.
So maybe he would just let them suck some blood out of his finger.
How could I have forgotten?
But it's true. He ended up becoming a very, you know, kind, gentle character, Shitface.
And with shithead owner, how did he come out so kind? Maybe it's contrast. I don't know. Psychology. Ever wonder?
Me, I do not know.
Okay, so little character, and he gets really nervous and he pieces himself, which is so sad and embarrassing, even for people who aren't going through what the fake doll is going through.
Pretty common for those who are young. Remember, Glenn is only 6-year-old. He also raised in a circus by a terrible fake father that make him work. And
Yeah. So
very disturbed. He's disturbed.
but he also gets frequent television time, which is how he finds out who his father and mother are, because of that damn made in Japan thing, which is nothing to poo on Japan about, but that's not where the Chucky doll was made.
All I'm saying here is, okay, so Tiffany doll, she could have been made in Japan, right?
Sure.
We don't know, but we can just safely assume it's totally possible and probable if he's born with made in Japan on his wrist.
To me, I think
it didn't come from Chucky.
It all stinks to me, and we need is like a deodorant that says sure, not sure, secret for women.
Okay, so he had the heart of Damballa from the cemetery. I wonder whatever happened to the original Chucky and Tiffany, I guess not the original, but from Bride of Chucky, those doll bodies must be around somewhere.
Right, they never says what happened to the original deceased Tiffany doll that gave birth to Shitface. As far as we know, his name is Shitface in the story to this point because he hasn't met his parents yet.
Yeah,
But
what happened
yeah,
to those
what happened to
dolls?
bodies?
Were they sent? Maybe they were sent to Japan by people who made the animatronics for the
Right.
Chucky Goes Psycho film, and then they decided to put "Made in Japan" on the wrist because they saw it on Tiffany's, and then they modeled to get them so realistic
That's a
looking.
good theory there, see. But they needed some sort of link to connect that this doll, Shitface, knew that Chucky was his parents. So, okay, we figure that out. Now he hitches a ride on a truck. Somehow he gets on a plane without any passport. He makes his way from England, God knows how, demon knows how. And then he goes and finds out he's in Hollywood. Boom, boom, boom. He gets past security. Who the hell knows how? And maybe he makes friends. And he gets into past security into makeup puppeteer section where these fake dolls are that look like his parents, and he starts doing the jazzy words with
They
the
do a awake. I think all he say, and they
it's
Very
so
Straight-
summarized.
straight comedy. This is not horror or believable in any sense. It's
Uh,
totally comedy, and I dig the film Meow, but when it came out, it
It was disturbing.
to be honest, it lost me. I lost interest because I thought it was so bad compared to
I
the
thought
other
the whole
ones.
concept was scary, so they won me over by that.
So he brings his parents back to the dolls, and they
He
just-
brings them to life. He brings his parents back to life through the dolls with the chant, and
he thinks they're Japanese. He said Chucky tell them they're from Jersey,
konnichiwa, arigato, aishitaimasu.
and they can't tell. They don't know if he's male or female or both. So he get the name Glenn or Glenda, which is clearly an homage to Ed Wood Jr.'s Glenn or Glenda film, starring Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi.
Oh, I get it now.
And then what happened? Oh, Jennifer Tilly is playing Jennifer Tilly as well as playing Tiffany, and there's funny things where she makes fun of her weight, and
She has to hide her Milky
career.
Way in the little Chucky doll shirt or
I want a
overalls,
candy bar.
and
And we just love that she's back there and human
she
form.
still look fabulous. She's not fat, she's thick, which is probably why she land Redman in the role, because
As
he
the
liked the
Virgin Mary.
thicker as Virgin Mary.
Cat Pyra, you pointed out a very interesting thing I did not consider before about her being pregnant from an unknown force of God to give birth to Jesus, but she unknowingly pregnant. She think it's a sign to give birth to Glenn or
Total
Glenda.
foreshadowing. She's going to be playing Mary, Mother of God, a virgin, miracle virgin, and then there she is giving birth to, without sex, to children, Chucky children. Is that make Chucky God now?
Pretty much. Or
Got
Tiffany.
it.
Who knows?
Because someone injected her, and it was
One of the
definitely
same.
Tiffany. So was she like, Saint Michael or something? Tiffany was Saint Michael. I don't know how Catholic Church worked, but they definitely maybe got concept from Chucky was taken from that.
And another perk that is amazing is the paparazzi guy, John Waters.
Mm-hmm.
John Waters, one of my favorite filmmakers.
John Waters is great as paparazzi, asking questions, man.
Jennifer, what year were you really born? Give us the exact date.
Right, because we all know Jennifer Tilly looks great for her age.
You want me to draw you a picture? Does anybody have something? A pencil, a crayon?
And
then, so Glenn is terrified that his parents are killers. Oh, another thing that's like, so usually it takes forever for them to start to become human-like when they are a doll.
Right.
But as soon as the prop master tried to open up Tiffany, she already got the rib cage and guts and everything.
So apparently in the 90s, everything works faster.
Well, this is 2004. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I meant 21st century. No, wait,
21st.
21st century.
It's hard to tell because we're in a different era. We're in Common Yam era over here.
when you're interdimensionally traveling, you lose track of things.
So Glenn is not sure if she wants to be Glenn or Glenda, and the parents are trying to persuade Tiffany tried to make Chucky cold turkey quit killing, but he do not want to because that's who
who
he
does she
is.
think she is? She thinks she's better than him? Come on.
It's also crazy that she all of a sudden, I guess she just really want to focus on
Maybe
family.
it's an innate family instinct to want to care for a little kid and whatever, Seed of Chucky.
And then you get the chauffeur guy who is in love with Jennifer Tilly, who
practicing to say, Jennifer, I love you.
he never actually say it to her, and then he died. That's what you get.
Yep. So
Procrastinating.
that should show our viewers or teach our viewers to always express yourself.
Even if the person you're in love is about to have sex with a red man.
You know, because this happens on day-to-day basis.
It's true. I have sex with a red man often, but cat pirates still love me.
I just find it so hilarious.
And then what happened? So yada yada yada, they kill together, masturbating midget, and it's a pretty funny film. And then it's funny when Chucky think that Tiffany killed the assistant, Jennifer Tilly's assistant, but it's Glenda. She killed her, and then they.
So this is really good, happy peak in the movie because we find out, hey, this kid has some talent.
Multi-talented kid.
And I can groove with that.
So it all go very nuts. And by the end of it, we see that Tiffany do in fact transfer her soul successfully into Jennifer Tilly's body, and Glenn and Glenda each get their own body. They get to be less confused about their gender, which is a really good film at the time for saying something, because back then in 2004 it was still not very talked about outside of major cities.
Unfortunately, still taboo to this day, but I mean, we hope to continue moving forward socially and accepting and being comfortable with other people, learning to be comfortable with their new stage in their life.
Exactly. For some reason, it's been such a problem with people accepting others for who they are or who they're not sure they are over in your human world, but we don't like to deal with that stupid drama.
Right.
We don't care.
This film
Just
was really
movies.
open, and they really covered a lot of things socially acceptable and politically acceptable and sexually acceptable, and they really were pushing the norm back in 2004, I guess.
It just goes to show you all the best filmmakers are homosexual.
Bravo.
Anthony Perkins, Don Mancini, John Waters.
I clap for all of you. Bravo.
George
Live your
Lucas,
best life and happy
Kenneth
life.
Anger. So anyway, successfully transfer her soul into Jennifer Tilly. So we get Tiffany looking exactly the same, and she looked great as always.
Sure,
we
she's
get
plastic doll.
Glenn and Glenda, and Chucky clearly still alive when his arm gets shipped to Glenn, and he got the twitchy eye and he pee his pants. It's also interesting that their child come out with the red hair, which was a good guy doll gene.
That's something that they did. I thought was really interesting that they didn't show was Jennifer Tilly giving birth to a set of twins.
They did show it.
Oh, they showed twins coming out of her
You
vagina.
were asleep.
Out of her vagina.
Well, they didn't exactly show it.
Out of her vagine. I don't think so. These
Out
are
of her
things
West
Cat
Virginia.
Sparrow wants to see, and I feel like I'm being, cut short and out of the entertainment value. Anyway, we all want to see Jennifer Tilly's.
I think giving birth is gross.
Yes, but it's not just gross, it's fucking scary.
It's all
And this is a horror
natural.
movie, right? Okay, it's at least the most natural thing
It's
in
a
the
natural
world.
mammal sort of
It's
thing.
an alien
It's just gross.
experience and moment. Can we all agree on that?
Terrifying.
Right, okay.
And another thing that bothered me, it didn't really bother me because it looked real cool. So Tiffany
But wait,
and Jennifer, what?
they showed little Glenn being transferred into twin body.
They didn't show that part.
Those are things I wanted
They jump.
to see.
Well, they jump to it. They say what they say. 4 years. How many years later?
Sure.
6 years later.
Always moving forward with caption and saying something later.
5 years later, because I think it was supposed to be 2009.
Count Cat does that to me. I say I'm hungry, and then he says he holds up a sign, and it says 5 minutes later.
It's true. I hold up these. I don't want to wait around, so I put up the sign
And then he
just
says,
skip to the future.
5 minutes later, you're not hungry anymore.
Like, yeah. When is that human rat stew? It's vegan human rat. Well, it's all vegan except for the humans. She making like a borscht with the wacky witch, and how long is it going to be? Half an hour. I don't like that. I hold up sign to say half hour later, and then it's ready.
It works.
At least that's how it works here, just like in the movies. So, but what I was saying, the cool shot that don't make any. What I was saying was the cool shot that does not make much sense at all is Tiffany's eyes in Jennifer Tilly's body glow green like the Tiffany doll. However, Tiffany had brown eyes before because she was played by Jennifer Tilly.
Right. So it's just to show when your soul is in a new body and you had green eyes, it's gonna show.
I suppose it's because even our physical bodies are energy vibrating that sort of incorporate themselves into our soul on some degree. I guess it starts to carry over like red hair genetics, green eye genetics.
You hear that, people? Science.
100%.
I'm grass with my knife each night. I feel alright. Creeping solo with my wife, kick my bride. Or a kid Glenn so full of pride. Just cause I'm a dad don't mean I ain't got time to fucking stab, stab, stab! A plastic freak bringing hell, havoc to wreak with a voodoo spell. 3 phrases I speak, secret to tell. Ain't it neat? Well, I'm back from hell!
Time to slay, it's all just child's play. Up in the truck, take your life away. Time to die, you dirty slut. This here, I can shut you up. Hold your guts right on out. How to flip, no one will find out. Time now to improvise. Got a beautiful next surprise. One you'll never survive. Pulling out both your eyes. My mother always had help would set me free. My mother always had. Oh well, she's dead.
Playtime is over, and so is your life. When you meet me, my wife, I'm a knight. Charles Lee Ray, here to play. Even after death, I'm here to stay. Reappear this way, a good guy wrapping up a bad motherfucker. Laughing in the cold, I'm a legend in the Windy City told. For decades, any weapon, especially blades. Love to see it get cut. I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get Eddie, no matter what. A day to a dumbala. Rolling over skulls, I'ma crumble ya. Give me the power, I beg of you. Not through till I behead you. Your life is fucking through.
Time to slay, it's all just child's play. Up in the truck, take your life away. Time to die, you dirty slut. This here, I can shut you up. Hold your guts right on out. How to flip, no one will find out. Time now to improvise. Got a beautiful next surprise. One you'll never survive. Pulling out both your eyes. My mother always had help would set me free. My mother always had. Oh well, she's dead.
Thought I was only playing, but more than 3 phrases I was saying. Always forever, always slaying, even when my body's decaying. I'm gonna kill you, Andy! Ain't life dandy? Let's rock and roll as I transfer my soul to plastic of flesh. Gotta keep it fresh, hacking up the best. What steals my breath is, man, look at Tiffany's breasts. Guts cut so angular, known as a notorious strangler. Taking a life is what I need. Stacking the bodies to make them bleed. Need a body to be free. Return from burn to breed. I'm a toy and I bleed. Stone to the bone, prank calling on the phone. Cop cars ready to explode. Paparazzi pulp acid erode. Infamous stories told. Immortal even though I'm old. When I light the stove, Eddie's house is gonna explode. Lieutenants think they're bold. Got boot camp hostages to hold. Joints already rolled. What's Tyler though? Just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro. Dr. Death's dying breath after I cut out his chest. Rootin' down, blood shrieking howl. Being a doll, at first I would detest. But hey, it's fucking the best! I'm Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it!
Speculation sensation. Without hesitation. There's the track from Death Cat of Don't Fuck with the Chuck. So meow, they are shooting in Canada, and we are introduced to somebody who look a little familiar, with her face, her eyes, her genetics perhaps.
Dude, fun. Did you get
Fiona Dorif.
There you go. Dorif.
Fiona Dorif, Brad Dorif's daughter.
In the real life.
In the real world. I suspect they're going to eventually say that Chucky is her true father, because how can you not? They look the same.
That's what I have suspected.
One's a female version, the other is Meow, an old man.
Thank you, Central Casting.
I doubt they had anything to do with it. They mostly deal with extras. So return to the spooky vibe. You get a new version. Chucky as the good guy doll looked great. Chucky as the killer doll looked like his eyeballs are
bigger, wide set, frog-like.
Yeah, they don't. It don't look.
Maybe
as
cuter to swamp man, but not to us.
Once they tear his face off and you see the stitching, he look a lot better. But so Nika in a wheelchair because she was stabbed in the stomach. We're just going to go short because we're already 2 hours into recording before.
So the short summarize version. Brad Dourif has secret family on the side away from Tiffany.
What a bastard.
Yes. And he wants to have these women capture her, and he does, and she's pregnant with that Fiona Dourif character.
After he killed the
Nika.
father. And apparently that is how he has the police called on him. He must have run out of the basement or wherever he was, his apartment. I don't know.
With the
By himself.
Nika, with the Nika mother.
Well, when he left there, he must have ran out and jumped into the van with Eddie Caputo.
Right. And ran into a toy store and transferred his body.
So you get this cool sort of like a haunted house without the ghost, just the Chucky.
And skeletons in his closet, like hiding a woman in the basement and making it so that he captures her and her family for new life. What's the deal?
Yes, just to go in circle to break up any clarity of the flow of what you were talking.
So now we fast forward to where little child in womb was stabbed, and she's older and handicapped in a wheelchair, and has siblings and her mother ends up dying,
Bleeding all over the ground after they get this good guy doll shipped to them from who knows where. We do, now that we've seen the whole movie. So it seemed like. So another important thing to mind or to mention. Oh no, that's the end of this film. So yeah, apparently Tiffany's helping Chucky tie up some loose ends, which Mike Norris would be happy with if it weren't murder, since he hates loose ends.
Right. I hate loose ends, especially in my milkshakes.
So he go back to his origins, which are actually a fresh start or whatever, and he killed his ex-lover, whether they were actually lovers or he was just crazily obsessed with her.
We
And
don't know.
there's a cool deleted scene where he's driving a really cool car, where he tried to pick up he tried to pick up the husband to give him a ride to the
Charles
bottom
Lee Ray.
of the river.
To kill him.
And so anyway, so they're in this house, and the stupid bitchy sister, who is apparently super Catholic but cheating on her husband with the nanny, is trying to sell the house so she can make money to run away with her lover and
Leaving Nika.
be a bitch.
Yeah, and being a total bitch.
And Chucky killed them all one by one. You got the priest who looked like James Hetfield. You have the police officer who was in AA with James
And
Hetfield.
again, they all had it coming.
Yes, you're a priest. You have it coming. If you're a
Cheating
cruel,
on your husband with a hot girl nanny.
She was the least hot person in the whole movie. Besides the
had it.
kid, she was the least hot.
And because of that, she had it coming. And she died. Dead.
Must have been the oregano.
Oh, too much. Bitch had it coming. Too much oregano. But maybe Chucky liked oregano, which is why he let Nika live.
You also get an interesting soundtrack, meow. It's very sort of orchestral with electric guitar, like a minimalized version of Siberian orchestra. The suspense is back. It's very dark and noir like the first film, but they're in a spooky house.
Murky feel and dark tones, and cinematography even gives you feel of depression all around the house. So again, the house had it coming.
Stupid house. Good thing it never burned down.
Right. Otherwise it'd be haunted.
Pretty ironic. The sister wanted to sell the house, but then who get the house? Is it still in Nika's name, even if she committed for murder, insanity, plea?
These I suspect that maybe it went to her niece and adopted parents, or who knows.
Well, the niece ended up dead anyway, so.
Right, because she was not suspectable to to execute the murders for Chucky or Charles Lee Ray, but she fucked up because she's little kid, and little kids are not indestructible like crazy demonic voodoo doll, like good guy doll, and so she's flesh and bone. She died.
Yeah, we're going to be all over the place with this one because
Sorry.
we're tired of doing the podcast. Really.
I mean, no, it's
just like you're tired of listening to us.
Work of passion, but it all just mesh up together, so it's hard to not talk about 3 and then 6 at the same time, you know?
So we appreciate the whole movie. I'll just start with the negative because that's the sort of cat I am. So the whole movie, Chucky is wearing a shirt that clearly looked like it was made in 2001.
Fashionable.
But it's supposed to be 1980 something.
Retro
from the future, if you don't know. And then you can also tell there is I don't know. I just want to say that Nika's going to be Chucky's daughter, like in real life, because they look similar to me. And also, they did a terrible job on the wig, because they did not make his receding hairline. They made his hair too dark.
Charles Lee Ray's
and
wig.
Chucky's wig, yes.
Okay. So, what did you think about the costumes in Curse of Chucky? Wait.
The costume, the wardrobe?
Yes, costumes, wardrobe, hair, even... Yeah, just
what was the sister's name? Our internet
Bitch Face. Her name was Bitch Face.
Yeah, she was very attractive, and I liked her pajamas.
So of course we call her Bitch Face.
Because of her pajamas were superb.
And because you thought she was hot.
Well, that's what happened when you're plastic surgery. Disaster.
That bitch.
Well, they put Nika in her white nightgown to symbolize pure innocence.
Right. She was not sexy at all, which would made me sad for actress Fiona.
She's attractive.
She's attractive, but they didn't. They really made her dowdy, and really showed the significance between her sister, she and her sister, with how they dressed and how she carried herself. Yeah, Fiona Doris did good job portraying Nika character. Very heartwarming, gets you. You're glad that she survives and she fights back and she's not a little wimp even though she's in the wheelchair.
Everybody thinks she crazy. The husband, the brother-in-law, the sister thinks she crazy. She even get tied up at one time. She even have a heart condition where she sort of have like a heart attack or something in the film because things have just gotten so crazy with Chucky.
Terrible, trendy.
Another funny thing is Chucky's head come off and he's not all like blood and guts even though he's a parent.
Give?
Yeah, and he's supposed to be the same doll from Seed of Chucky, which was like years and years previous.
Unbelievable.
And stuffing come out of him. You know she's crazy and hallucinating it all.
But we know as audience, and I guess it would make us root for her.
Also, you notice the police officer who knew Reverend James Hetfield is the same actor to play Malcolm in The Cult of Chucky.
Right, a multiple Malcolm character with personalities of many sorts.
So I particularly very much enjoyed The Curse of Chucky. I've seen it a few times, probably 5 or 6 only, really, but it's so much better than Seed of Chucky to me, although I think Chucky looked kind of weird.
They're just two
meow.
totally different films, though.
Definitely, very different. Totally different.
Mood, different tones, different directors.
No, they're both John Mancini.
Oh, no.
He's director from here on out.
I was thinking Bride of Chucky, that young guy.
I'm not sure, but I think that Seed of Chucky was the first. I think he's only directed his own films, the Chucky ones, and I think Seed was his first one. He didn't do a bad job. There's nothing wrong with the directing in Seed of Chucky.
Well,
it's just that it is a absurd comedy film versus a horror film.
Right, different issues, different approaches, and different. It's the same writer.
Same writer, same producer, same director.
You think it's done by two totally different people, but
it just showed the multiple talents.
Yeah, and different depths and of characters. The characters are so different than Seed of Chucky. Yeah, we had sideshows and children, puppet children, and actual children.
Hollywood actresses and actors. And then here you have everyday people who are scarred from Chucky from before.
Right.
Born into a life of being scarred, quite literally, and the mother mentally, emotionally.
Chucky had messy history when he was human.
He really ruined people's lives as a doll and as a human.
Right. So he continued to ruin people's lives and was killing continuously through this movie. And he killed annoying bitch face sister, annoying bitch face mother of Nika, and the annoying bitch face husband.
I didn't find him too annoying. He was just trying. I mean, I didn't like that he worked for. I didn't like that he worked for Starbucks because fuck Starbucks. But
where a venti means 20 instead of a tall, a large. Ridiculousness.
Other things you can notice that are strange. The good guy doll's voice has changed. However, it makes sense because here we have, the Beetlejuice is out back there, but we have Pee Wee Herman doll, and now years later he sounds like this. Or
I'm Pee Wee Herman.
He'd sound like he's Frankenstein chipmunk.
So, of course, naturally, Good Guy Doll would sound different, but a little strange that they took out the hide-the-hole.
Right, and it's interesting, they all knew what this Good Guy Doll was, even though it's from the 80s and it's now...
Well, they grew up in the 80s because they're all in their 30s or 20. I guess Nika was in her 20s.
Left.
So, it's also funny, they're always saying good guys from the 80s, but the first one was the end of the 80s, and most of them were apparently in the 1990s.
So, in the 21st century, we talk about what scene in the movie?
What scene and where?
In the movie.
Oh, so many great shots.
What were your favorite scenes?
Well, one shot in particular. We mentioned the cinematography is especially fantastic. Fantastic cinematography. Where in the intro, after the mother is found dead, you see her blood come out, and you see Nika's reflection. Usually, I'm not a big fan of computer-generated image, but here it worked beautifully.
I thought that was real blood. They tricked me real good.
Maybe it was. I'm not sure. And then, even when it says Curse of Chucky, that CGI 3D of the words, usually not a big fan of, but it just looks so badass next to Chucky there.
Agreed.
However, Chucky CGI going down the stairs after... You have your mother's eyes. They were always too fucking close together. When he walked down the stairs there, they should have used animatronic or a small person.
Chucky was so upset. I mean, what did he have against close set eyes? I mean...
They just bugged him. Like a lot of things bothered him, so he
and
sliced
this is
them.
what triggers to the killing?
That's why they're called homicidal maniacs.
Oh, shit. I think I had a cousin like that once. That was another lie.
Also, this film, probably due to the age of Brad Dourif, his voice get much more raspier and sort of sinister
and
sounding.
more character like very much like a cartoon.
Yes, you see that more and more each film. The first one, he just sounds sort of like a person talking with a very unique voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's become so iconic. He's
campy.
Thinking of... I'm not sure I would say he was campy in this one.
Totally campy. I mean, I'm talking about fire pit, s'mores, tent, campy camp.
Hey, there is one. Chucky goes camping.
Chucky goes camping.
You could do Chucky vs. Jason that way, perhaps.
Oh, that would
Chucky,
be interesting.
Chucky at Camp Crystal Lake. Never
I
mind
mean,
Chucky vs. the Leprechaun.
Little guy never die. How does a doll not die?
Really?
The will is so strong in this man.
Really, he died many times and he just happened to come back. Like, he didn't choose to come back the first few times. Tiffany brought him back. Toy Factory brought him back.
Son brought him back. Or Glenda, it brought him back.
So he's in demand by the world. They want Chucky. They need more dead people. You reanimate the dead. So meow, we go into Cult of Chucky. Nika's committed. And you have multiple Chucky running around. Which at first I thought maybe kind of absurd. A lot of people didn't like it. But... oh,
They explain it.
They explain it. Don Mancini originally wanted to do that with the third film at the Toy Factory, and reading upon certain witchcraft books and reincarnation. A soul.
You mean the voodoo book for dummies?
Reading the voodoo book of dummies. Research shows that a soul can split into multiple bodies at the same time, or multiple souls can inhabit a body. So it's possible even on the metaphysical real-life level.
Sounds like they're talking about a really good weekend, you know, and I get to possess more than one through television set.
Weekend at Bernie Max on TV.
It's a weekend thing, you know, when you want to get, I mean...
Slash-a-thon.
So what else did you like about the movie?
Curse of Chucky. So the tone is good, the horror. One of my favorite lines is when Alice is under the blankets during the thunderstorm. I like that it's in a house and it's
who
raining.
was Alice?
Alice, the little kid.
Oh, sure, little child.
One of my favorite parts, besides all of the flashback scenes of Chucky as a human, was she go under the blankets and turn on the flashlight and she goes, Chucky, I'm scared.
Yeah, very weird.
You fucking should be.
Yes, I enjoyed when Chucky was being truthful. I appreciate truth.
So that was one of my favorite parts. Just the whole conflict of Nika trying to communicate to her sister. Do you know what's in that doll? Like, you knew about this. Just
you
the
feel
characters.
Desperate for her just as much as you see the character feeling very desperate to prove that Chucky's real.
I just found all the characters enjoyable to some degree. It's like you're immediately, it doesn't take long to become attached to these characters. They're much
true.
more.
And I got right when they killed them is when I got tired of them.
unlike a lot of other films throughout the 80s, especially, not that this was anywhere near the 1980s.
By far.
But you have characters introduced, and you have a little bit of depth, and then they die. These characters, you really get into their backstories and their relationships, their dynamics,
Real depth.
the personality. Very, very well developed characters, great actors, great directing, great cinematography, great effects. The flow of the film was fantastic. Overall, it's hard to pick which one is one of my favorites, but I very much enjoyed Curse of Chucky. I thought it was an amazing job that they brought it back this way.
Corpse Crunch cereal. Tired of eating cereal that tastes like shit? Then stop eating shit and eat guts. Real goopy green things. The neighbor's eyeball. String gut stinks. Rotten finger stings. And an actual poisonous spider for the kids.
Tastes like Mom and Dad's guts. Corpse Crunch cereal. Corpse Crunch cereal. Corpse Crunch
Breakfast time cereal. Supper time cereal. Anytime cereal. Corpse Crunch cereal. From genital spills.
We go into Cult of Chucky, which I don't like quite as much, but I still think it's great. I love
It's
it.
one of my favorite ones because I really like all the crazy people inside the asylum, and you have one woman who killed her son, because she was a bad mother. She strangled him, and then she strangled little child Chucky for what is it? Physical
Therapeutic
means. Thank you.
postpartum depression.
Postpartum depression. Woman kill her son. Totally relatable. Never had a kid, but sure.
Never had the kid, but I should have killed all of them.
And so she have another character where this Asian girl is crazy. She had burned up her house for who no one knows why, but she was always taking care of other schizophrenic, co-client crazy peer, and she was the crazy schizophrenic lady thought she was dead and telling people not to be afraid of her. If I were her, I'd be like, be very afraid because I'm crazy and I don't even know it, But she didn't know it, which is why she couldn't say it. I like that old lady too. And I also appreciated multiple personality, multiple Mark. He ended up being possessed by Chucky, and he gave him a sense of, being important. And then when Chucky was gone and went into Nika's body, hey, that's good stuff there. He's really psyching the shit out of these cycles out, and I'm having fun with it, with his mental.
A mental asylum is sort of a playground because everybody's seen as being insane or mentally unstable, so he could get away with more.
I was really into the fact that Chucky was attacking adults, and that they're all kind of stuck in this. They're not they're definitely stuck in this mental asylum. And, for those who are claustrophobic or people who are afraid of being locked up, which I think, if I were ever to be trapped into between dimensions, I'd be kind of sick and, maybe, what's that word? When you're in dizzy? Okay.
Vertigo.
I can get vertigo. And dealing with multiple Chuckies is definitely giving you a head turn and can get you vertigo. Don't you agree, Count Cut? No. Okay. So they have other characters too. They have long-haired nurse, two of them. And what's the deal with what kind of asylum only has one doctor, one psychiatrist, or psychologist, because he's obviously giving them drugs and hypnotizing, and then he's so twisted that even Chucky says about the psychologist,
I just can't with this guy. I don't know whether to kill him or just take notes.
And Nika is coming in and out of her psychosis because she's drugged and she's being hypnotized, so she's suggestible. And Chucky suggests, hey, why not have a little killing spree with me? Or just attack this man, the psychologist who's trying to rape you while you're under influence of hypnosis, which was fun.
Very interesting dynamics, very interesting characters. Even though he was a total creep and villain, he definitely added an extra dimension to the situation. And of course, things that we all loved. You have Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany there again, slitting throats, tasting the blood meow. You have
Yeah,
Andy Barkley.
when did Jennifer Tilly or Tiffany, it's Jennifer Tilly body with Tiffany's soul, get into eating like the way we do, or drinking blood? What she
Drinking
thinks
the
she
blood.
is? She's a vampire now?
The blood of Chucky.
Was it that Jennifer Tilly is really a vampire in real life, which is why she looks so good for her age, and so she's naturally craving this from the body, but it's not Tiffany? Who knows?
Well, I found it sexy when she did that.
I found it hilarious.
Forgot what else I was going to say.
Well, I just think it was interesting that how fun it was for Chucky to have field day in mental institution, having fun with these people and being able to walk around without them even phasing these people because they're mentally ill and they think that they know they're schizophrenic, quote unquote, and that they're just seeing things that supposedly aren't real there. When in reality, our reality, several realities, it is.
It's also great to see Alex Vincent back as... you saw him at the end shoot Chucky at the end of Curse of Chucky. So it's great to see him trying to live his life, but it's still ruined because of Chucky. And he can't even go on a successful date, unfortunately. And he's hanging out smoking a joint with a lungless, severed head of Chucky that he tortures. And he's definitely prepared. You see that he got all those guns to protect himself.
Some people are just so addicted they can even smoke without the lining lungs.
So it's a very interesting dynamic. I think it also goes to show maybe into the actor's real life of how he's so associated with these films from his roles as a 6 and 8-year-old.
Oh, yeah. So we have Andy, and he has head of Chucky. Is that right?
Correct.
He has head of Chucky that's still alive, functional, speaking, and he once took it to that psychologist that's raping poor Nika, and he
Dr. Foley.
Dr. Foley, he has a videotape. How the hell did he get videotape of himself? Did he set up camera while he went into the office of this Foley man's place? Well, he's showing him that Chucky is real.
He did set up the video, show him set the camera up.
Oh, okay. And he's like, look, he's real. He's like, yo, you got really good animatronics. You should work for Hollywood, which is, I love when people just show Hollywood to its face, like a mirror. Poor guy was, shoot out.
It's just absurd how much Dr. Foley overlooked the fact that there's Meow 3 good guy dolls here, two which did not.
Well, one is brought in by Tiffany. One was brought in for therapy from Dr. Foley with the absolute name of Chucky. And then we have a third one that's being mailed by older Andy. He cut up the hair. He chopped up the hair for some reason. Oh, yes. We find out that he was mailed for a good reason because he sold up that good guy doll with a gun.
Which he rips out to kill that very doll. It's almost like completely pointless because they send Chucky, the third Chucky. Other than that, there would have been 2 Chucky dolls trying to kill him, but because he brought an extra one with a gun, he essentially used the gun to kill that Chucky doll, but he still remained locked inside.
Because he ran out of bullets. He forgot to bring an extra chamber or something, cartridge.
Because Chucky showed up in Nika's body, so things that I was really impressed with, especially the first time I saw it. Finally, you get to see Chucky leave a doll and enter into a human body, which was what he was trying to do for all of the films.
Right.
All 7 films he tried to do this.
If it was that easy, why didn't he do it with anybody? Why was he continuously trying to killing everybody instead of just transferring his body into their bodies?
Because they were getting in the way. He was trying to do that and they got in the way.
But if...
And he liked to kill.
Wait.
It's good exercise.
Wasn't the law or the rule something about being able to transfer his body in the first person he exposed himself to? Wouldn't that have been the body? Does he just...
remember, voodoo.com for dummies.
Right.
Voodoofordummies.com. He realized there's another
a jazzy new chant that he could...
Yeah, you just have to rip some jazzy saxophone.
Totally forgot about that.
So you'll have Atom Hurtig playing Michael, Multiple Malcolm, who also was the police officer in the previous film.
That's a good fact.
I'm trying to see. Oh, and then as well at the end you get Christine Elise come back as Kyle.
Right
which is
in the very end,
interesting.
after the credits, right? There's a couple of things that they do while the credits are rolling and are finished. In Curse of Chucky, you see that what?
The Curse of Chucky. Well, the Curse of Chucky, you see, Chucky, Tiffany ships Chucky to Andy's house, and you see they can't. One thing I think is weird is
Well, you
how did he
didn't say what
graduate?
happened.
Well, okay, so Andy shoot him in the head with the gun.
That's what happened,
Curse
and
of
that's why
Chucky.
we know that Andy has the head and everything in the beginning.
That's why he's missing half of his face.
Right. Okay.
But I found it interesting that he has like these awards, like he finished Kent Military School. I guess it's totally possible, but it just seemed like it'd be a weird thing after so many kids died.
I would have kicked them. I would have kicked them out. Right. It's unfinished business that they completed, and that didn't make sense.
Here, I'm going to. So, during Curse of Chucky, and during Cult of Chucky, what do you think happened to Glenn/Glenda?
I think he had a full great career in drag in San Francisco. Is that not a good answer?
Close enough. Who know for real?
A new body, the new body he got.
Which one? He
No.
was boy and he was girl.
So you mean do you mean
5 years old in 2009, so 2019. Wait a minute.
wasn't he the little boy that he got attacked? He was the little redhead in the movie.
He's the boy and the girl. They became human male and the female child.
I think Linda was a lot creepier than Glenn.
The homicidal aspect for sure with the family genes.
I still am confused about the fact that Glenn the puppet doll was put into the twin souls that Jennifer Tilly had that were Chucky's kids.
It's
Ultimately.
just couldn't decide. Couldn't decide, so they got both choices. It worked out.
That big mix-up that there is.
Pretty clear to me.
Lots of room for confusion.
No, there's Glenn and there's Glenda and one plastic child. Then she have twins, so they put half of the soul in each of them.
I was under the impression one of the twins was asked out of their body, and Glenda, the puppet, got to choose which body they wanted to consume. But apparently it was a split soul. Okay.
Chose both or something. Although
Yeah.
you do see there's the internal monologue back to Glenn's voice, where he's talking about, everybody.
That's
everything
where I
worked
got
out.
confused, because it's still Glenn's voice, and then they show the little boy, the actual boy that Jennifer Tilly's character gave birth to.
But there's Glenda, the one that the nanny was afraid of.
Right, which is Jennifer Tilly and Chucky's child, because Jennifer Tilly got not Tiffany, but Jennifer Tilly got artificially inseminated by Tiffany.
But they transfer the soul of their child into both children. Anyway, so
That's normal.
every day, you can have souls. They split. It's energy, energy, personality. They reincarnate. You transfer soul, come into multiple bodies, or you have multiple soul in one body.
It's
It happened all the time in Tritylania.
I was gonna say that's a more Tritolanian thing than anything. It's why it's more common to you, and I'm still learning.
So, also, Seed of Chucky, that take place it's from 2004. It's 5 years later when the twins are at their 5th birthday, which would be 2009, making them 5 at the end of Seed. So, they are nowhere to be found during Curse of Chucky, which take place 4 years after 2009, 2013, so they would have been 9 years old. And Chucky clearly still alive. Tiffany is now residing inside Jennifer Tilly's body. Don't we all wish we could reside in Jennifer Tilly's body? So I wonder if their kids are just hanging out somewhere
I
at
bet Method
9.
Man felt it too, and let's see.
And then they'd be 13 during Cult of Chucky.
Okay.
Did they just not bring their kid back? So embarrassing. And then there's the mystery of Alice, Nika's cousin, who apparently Chucky transferred his soul into and tried to kill somebody, and she got
ended up-
murdered.
She's dead now. Right, so they never got into the fact of whether or not they used Chucky's twin children, Glenn and Glenda, to kill other people, and if they died as well, like
Glendorf killing people somewhere.
like the other little girl.
And
Everyone's
Glenn, maybe he still pisses his pants even into his teenage years.
that's sad.
It's 2021. The math would make Glenn/Glenda 17 years old meow. And we're going to have the sci-fi Chucky series coming this fall. So
Maybe
they'll be
they'll be
17.
featured in the show as 17-year-old children.
And they can drive legally.
That's great.
License to drive, license to kill. Whose blood shall they spill?
Which state will they kill in next?
That's another good question. So we know that there's supposed to be a good guy doll turning upside down at a garage sale, and it's supposed to tie into Chucky's early life. Back to his childhood, perhaps. So I wonder, it's going to be in New Jersey. Try hard.
Maybe he's from Alaska, and then his father is his military boy, or what is that? Military brat. And then
Military brat.
and then they relocated to New Jersey, and then you find out that Charles Lee Ray was Alaskan this whole time.
Child's Play the remake, the film that absolutely no one asked for and that nobody wanted, and the creators, Don Mancini, Chucky himself, Brad Dourif, and
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, David Kirshner, everybody was against because they are still making Chucky movies, so why do you want to try to reboot it? Oh, because you own the rights and you want to make money. Telling
Good job,
Nobody.
MGM and Orion Productions.
So it's a great sequel to I, Robot. But
But we don't want it, and so we have it here, and we have Kelly Aubrey Plaza, the mother, going into a new town with her son, and she gives him a buddy doll, a little, you're familiar with those My Buddy dolls, My Buddy,
My Buddy.
My
So-
Buddy and me.
So clearly inspired from the My Buddy dolls, which of course the original Chucky had some inspiration off of. However, she's buying this doll for her 12-year-old son who sees a video of it humping something. So of course that makes sense. You want a doll that's humping something. And
It's modern times. Kids love this stuff.
to be completely honest, when I first heard about this film, of course I was not digging it. I did not want it to happen. But I saw the trailer. The trailer made the film look pretty good. I saw the film and I was greatly disappointed to my satisfaction, considering I didn't think it should exist.
It's interesting you should say some things because Stephen King, the horror man himself, had liked it.
Don't even mention that. It's not worth the praise from him either.
Or you don't? Was he gone that old?
And remember, Stephen King did not even like the Kubrick version of his book.
Well,
The
he
Shining.
absolutely changed everything. He put more meaning. He changed the script on the book. I mean, it was totally different story.
So with this version of Child's Play, you have a robot without the soul of any serial killer in there.
But we have to
Going-
explain how he gets the
So it started off, the film started off where
Kaslan Productions, Toy Productions.
you have a disgruntled factory worker who's removing the safety protocols, and the film really says absolutely nothing about sweatshop labor, even though maybe they tried to.
And they have options for the workers to have a safety measure for the doll to go crazy with all these safety features, which shouldn't actually exist at all. It shouldn't even be a factor for their doll to go crazy, because these are lawsuits up ahead and they don't like their workers, right? Okay. What?
Words, something. Mark Hamill, why? Why would you have to go from doing something so tremendously amazing, such as Luke Skywalker, body bags, and the Joker, to the voice of Han Solo?
Because he's doing a character change and he's being bad guy for once.
Variety paid. He did it on Robot Chicken.
And so they hired him. That was his audition. Perhaps, who knows?
The robot AI killed cat. I hate the film.
Yeah, this has been like harder than squeezing lemons out of Count Cat to actually talk and say something nice about this film, but it's a interesting twist. I don't enjoy Aubrey Plaza. She's a different character than we used to.
There's not a single character. It's good to play variety's character, but definitely her least interesting role. Perhaps they cut out all of her good stuff if they allowed her to do any of that. And
She was not believable as a mother. The whole time I was watching the movie, I kept saying, "Who is this woman, Aubrey Plaza? Is she the sister of a little boy?" I was very confused. So when Buddy Doll came into picture, I enjoyed it a lot more because you saw the friendship develop between Andy or what's his name? His name's Andy, right? Okay, still his name is still Andy, even though
they
everything is
changed
twisted.
everything except for people's names.
See, boring.
Mike Norris was the only character I didn't think was terrible.
Who's Mike Norris?
The detective.
Oh, right, man down the hall.
Who happened to, his mother happened to live down the hall.
And she happened to receive a severed head as gifts from little boy. That's normal. Never mind the fact that there's a part in the movie where Buddy Doll kills man on not on behalf of, but for little Andy, because it turns out that
He wished he would go away, so he make it happen.
yeah,
Off the latter.
Buddy makes people who make little boy upset disappear with killing, because
And of course, everybody want that character to die because he completed jerk, and he die.
and with every horror movie that exists, when people die, you find out they're jerks throughout the movie. You're kind of rooting for their death.
Let's talk about how terrible the Buddy / Chucky doll looked. He did not look terrifying. He did not look cute.
He looked like he was, what is that called when you fly from an airplane and you free fall, skydiving, and he was getting air into his mouth and it was stuck like that.
His face trying to stretch. The parts that were supposed to be comedic were really not funny. The parts were supposed to be scary.
There was one
weren't really scary.
You know, I have to say,
It's pretty predictable
in
film.
Child's Play, you know, they did not take themselves seriously with the whole series, which is great. I love that. I appreciate it. I like to laugh when I'm watching death. But in this one movie, remake, reboot, whatever, they took themselves seriously, and you saw it and you felt it, and they weren't trying to, you know, the little parts that were kind of funny were cute, you know, when Andy's trying to tell Buddy to make faces to scare his mother's boyfriend.
Did not come off across as funny or...
It was because it was a little bit of relief from the fact that they did not take themselves seriously when making this movie.
And why should they? It was complete shit. So that's all I really have to say about the film.
But wait, okay.
Would have been better if they just decided not to make it
Sure, because you know,
Child's Play, perhaps.
obviously Count Cat is loyal horror Child's Play fan, and I was being groomed this whole time to watch movies, which I absolutely enjoyed, but he hates any comment about.
Very.
He's rubbing his face.
I didn't think it would. I
His
thought the
fans are
trailer
condemned.
made it look okay, but the film was not satisfying in any amount. Even when I tried my best to put aside that these were complete assholes making the film. But
Okay, sure,
it just,
I mean-
it didn't, I should have seen Toy Story 4 instead, really.
You know, side note, we had Brad Dourif, Jennifer Tilly, and Mancini all asking fans to advocate
And David
for
Kirshner,
them.
the producer.
And the producer, and yes, they also asked Mancini if he wanted to be a part of it by having executive producer credit, and he wanted nothing to do with film. And it shows the fans are loyal, and it's right, so it's rightfully so. And he asked them all to talk on TikTok and bash the movie, even though they didn't see it. But, you know, it's different approach. It's different movie. I don't even consider it a Child's Play movie at all.
Exactly the point. It should not have been a Child's Play film. They should have just made an original film for a change, instead of trying to capture and pull in the fans of a franchise that already doing perfectly well, making excellent films, instead of just
They did a great job adding Aubrey Plaza for the mother. It was disappointing, but hey, with her name on the film,
Well, that's what they tried to do. They knew that they are pissing everyone off. They knew that their story was completely different, except for the parts that they tried to extract from the very original script. So they tried to attach, Audrey Plaza and Mark Hamill, and it still didn't work.
Mark Hamill was so creepy, and the song was so weird. I mean, it wasn't total crappy soundtrack or anything.
You are my sunshine, my only. That's exactly
okay,
what.
maybe it was.
You
but
are
I
my
mean,
body.
you hear that song and you think that is horror. That is total horror song.
The real horror story is that I actually watched the film twice.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on my count.
First time, honestly, I watched it, I did not even remember that it was Mark Hamill doing the voice.
The face was not creepy, and maybe it kind of looked like Mark Hamill a little bit. I'm not sure, but it was disturbing. Is the face? It was not something that we're familiar or like or anything in that matter, and yeah. It shouldn't have been made, but it was. And what I didn't like also was that, okay, little boy Andy has friends in this movie.
He also twice the age.
Twice the age of his own age, and he's deaf.
Hard of hearing.
Okay, hard of hearing. And which helps because Chucky is singing that terrible song.
Overall, I give it 24 paws down. But I think we're all very excited.
What I was getting at was that he had little friends and they didn't even realize, like, it didn't even faze them that this doll was attacking people, and they found it very
Yes,
fun.
they did. They stopped hanging out with him after they saw the dead head.
But what did they do about it? In modern century, you call cops or you do something about it. They did nothing.
They stopped talking to him.
Oh, wow, they stopped talking to him. If I found out that my friend had a killing doll, I would not just stop talking to them. I would call the police and do something about it.
Hard story to believe. We've given this film more time than it deserves. Let's talk about the TV show where we're more excited about and know hardly anything about.
How did it end?
With there never to be a sequel again, but then they made the eyes glow in another Buddy Dolls box, and also they showed, here's the Buddy 2 teddy bear like Teddy Ruxpin, here's one in leprechaun
That's
clothes.
what he sounded like. As soon as they introduced that there was a bear in the movie, I thought that is the voice that Mark Hamill is producing. He's producing a bear voice. It's not the Buddy doll voice. That's all. It sounded fake and terrible, and it sounded yeah, I don't want to go into it.
Who's excited for the TV show? I am. Me. I am excited to see. We're digging into Chucky's history. It's going to be on Sci-Fi Channel, the best channel there is, perhaps.
I really hope they delve into the fact of who that woman was. What's her name? The one that Jennifer Tilly character Tiffany thought that Chucky had stolen the ring
Vivian
for.
Van Pelt. We are all very interested to see what the story. Sound like just some rich broad. He was trying to.
Hopefully
make
they
money
give
off of.
backstory to that.
There's plenty of room for continuous growth, which is why I hear they want to do a TV series, because they can cover more ground, and you have multiple Chucky dolls. Chucky is inhabiting the body of people.
Who
and
is
dolls.
writing it? Co-writing it? Do you know who's?
It's Don Mancini directing and
Oh,
writing.
That's great. Hey.
Of course, it's the same people. They're just doing
Asking
TV
simple
show.
questions for a simple time.
And we shall find out this fall of 2021. Thanks for tuning Inside Out. We are tired of talking about this film. It turned into 2 episodes because we couldn't shut the hell up, and we just ramble on about the nonsense.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning Inside Out. Enjoy the song by Death Cat about the Chucky films. And we shall not see you next time because it's
Find you
Potcat.
in your dreams and nightmares.